back to the channel. We got our brackets mounted. We got the other spindle cut, tapped, drilled, and tapped. I used a quality tap and took my time. Yoda said, don't get in a big hurry. If you've never tapped anything before, especially something that's really hard, taps are very brittle. I mean, and I wasn't even reefing on it. Now, it was a cheap tap. So sometimes you got to spend the money and get a decent tap because it's worth it if you have a problem. Fortunately, I have a Yoda, and he was able to, I could have got it out probably. I just didn't want to make the situation worse. And he got it out, said he just tapped it right, tapped it right out. But anyway, moral of the story is quality drill bit, quality tap, make your life a whole lot easier. You'll also need a fairly long, kind of a longish tap, because this one area, this one right here, this part of the spindle is very thick as compared to the other two bolts. So you basically almost got to go twice as far, and having a longer tap will make that job a little bit easier. But we got them both assembled. Now we've got the hub dropped in, and we're just going to put our put some Loctite and put our wheel studs in, and then we're going to. I've already tested the bearings just to make sure they fit. You know, supposed to follow the instructions, make sure everything fits. They didn't send you the wrong stuff. It happens. Check out the brake pads. Look at those little dudes. So basically what we're doing is I'm getting all the studs in on this one. We're going to dry fit it, and then if everything looks good, then we're going to pack the wheel bearings, and I'll put that in. But I'll just kind of talk you through the steps that I'm going through right now. Putting in the wheel studs. So let me get to that. Got our wheel studs now. Technically speaking, I could have put a shorter. I could have put like a shorter stud. Could have ordered some or whatever. But I don't know that I will run Space Savers forever. So I don't want to have too short of a stud, you know, or I say too short anyway. I want to have enough stud to be able to run a shank lug nut if I want, all this kind of stuff. Even though those will work fine on regular length studs, they are kind of a pain in the butt to align and all that kind of stuff. And you're used to dealing with long wheel studs like I am in the back of the car, and I change tires every time I go to the track, have since like 2008, or even before that, but a lot since 2008. You just get used to having the long wheel studs to throw the wheel on and then just run the lug. It's just a lot easier. So anyway, I could put shorter in here, but I didn't because you know, just in case, leave my options open. So anyway, got that done. Now we're bolting the hubs onto the rotor. They offer a bunch of different kits. They offer vented rotor kits for street cars and stuff like that, which the bolts will come through the back and have a nut on them. But on the race kits, it's a little bit different. Like I say, they offer a lot of different kits for a lot of applications, even for Mustangs, so to speak. So they try and make it, I guess, as universal as they can. But the bolts go in the front, tighten them up, we're good to go. Next order of business is a dry fit. We've got the inner bearing, outer bearing, or however you want to call it, the washer and the nut on, and we've got it just, you know, kind of finger tight. Everything turns good. And now we're going to bolt the caliper on, or slide it on and see how it works. Make sure nothing's touching. Slide the brake pads in, see what's what. Caliper's on. I'll drop brake pads in. Pads in. Now it's also laying on its side, so that pad's just dropping down, but so looks pretty decent. Number 2 ready to go. Right now we just got to stick the brake pads in. They send a bunch of shims / washers in case you need to shim the caliper or whatever. So far so good. All right, got pretty decent. Also, it uses a Hawk brake pad, so getting, you know, replacements is not a big deal. Also, I have never put pads on the set that I bought back in 2008 that were on the Dragon. I drove way before I started a YouTube channel. I raced it a lot and drove it a lot, and they've been on the Fail TD. Not that I've driven it a lot or raced it a lot, but still, I've never put pads on. So, and I don't know if there's a Hawks or not, but that's what came with this kit, Hawks. Florida, baby. It's fixing to start doing something here in a minute. There we go, all bolted together. Basically, it was just pack the bearings, put the seal in, just bolt it all together the same way you had it mocked up. Let's see what it weighs. 21.6. For the record, just a big V8 rotor weighs 19.6. That's just the rotor. No spindle, no caliper. Welcome to Florida again. Every afternoon. Oh man, I don't know why we do strikes. We already do strike, but drinking one, so we're gonna strike. Okay. We got our brakes on. I would have started putting them on over the weekend, just installing everything, but I thought we were going to have a test and tune, so I was really kind of keeping my options open. I didn't want to get all bogged down and getting it swapped and running into some kind of issue or something like that, and did not be able to go to test tune, but it didn't matter. So kind of thought that was going to happen. It's been raining like every afternoon, and that was another reason why I didn't want to get kind of really bogged down in it. It's been raining a bunch, and then Sunday was actually rained a bunch, and it was raining off and on here all day, and then they canceled it. But we've got them all together. Now we just got to get them installed. So on a side note, we got some bad news today. David texted me or called me. I was at work. He texted me. The guy that floated our heads for us, Ray Coulter, passed away. So that's I mean, that's a shame. I like Ray. I mean, it wasn't, you know, like we were friends, but I mean, he seemed like a really good guy and everything. And long story short, some of you guys may remember, it's been like 2 years. I had my Pro Comps that David had ordered. I bought these Pro Comps that were had a damaged chamber, had dropped a valve or dropped something in, and messed up the busted chamber on one of the cylinders. And I got them pretty cheap from a mirror, and I wasn't going to use the springs or anything anyway. I was going to throw all that stuff in. I was going to throw that stuff in the garbage. But I was, you know, going to use the valves and studs and guide plates and all that. Long story short, David poured them. We took them over to Ray's, float them, and then Ray was going to do a valve job. And I just, you know, was just like, hey, no rush. Let me know when you're done. Well, you know, his widow called David and told him about what had happened with Ray, and, you know. So I don't know if he actually got the work done or not. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. It was just always an assumption we were going to go back over there and flow some heads, and I just flow them in because I didn't need them right that minute. So, but he has passed away, and that's a shame. His flow bench, it's already been sold. Someone already has called dibs on it or whatever. So we won't have a place to flow heads anymore. So that's disappointing as well. But it's more disappointing about Ray. So anyway, we got to go over and get those heads. It's probably maybe this weekend. I've got to talk to her and figure something out. And then I think me and Dave are gonna go over there and you know, pick them up. So anyway. Not a great day, so to speak, but that's the way it is. So, anyway, thanks for commenting, thanks for subscribing, thanks for smashing that bucket. Thanks for all the ways you guys support the channel. Couldn't do it without you. Wouldn't want to. I mean, I still drink Mountain Dew, and probably still do strike, but wouldn't be the same. Especially. Thanks for watching. Until next time on Substandard Later Fox Body Videos, 1 year only Lincolns, 4 drag bands. As always, fighting a good fight against Dr. Fear, and we're going to run the big cam at some point in time in Minnesota. See you guys next video.